how does a single comment, from an action star somehow bypass all the entertainment pages and just instantly trigger this massive nationwide religious and political firestorm?
Right. It's pretty wild. It completely upends our traditional understanding of where serious societal debates are actually supposed to happen.
Totally. And who is supposed to lead them, right? So today, we are bringing you a deep dive into a really fascinating real-time case study in modern media.
Yeah, we're looking at an article from Right.as, which actually crossed our radar in a pretty unconventional way.
Yeah, through a Facebook post from a Virender Sehwag fan club, of all places.
Which just adds another layer to how chaotic modern information flow is.
Exactly. And our mission today is to figure out what happens when, celebrity culture, deeply rooted religious traditions, and massive public discourse all just violently collide in modern India.
It's a huge collision.
It is. But before we get into the mechanics of this, I really need to look right at you, our listener, and just set some firm ground rules for this deep dive.
Absolutely necessary here.
Yeah, because we are dealing with the highly sensitive, intensely debated topic of Sanatana Dharma. And let me be crystal clear right out of the gate here. Neither of us is taking a side.
Right. No sides.
We are not endorsing any viewpoints. We're not validating any political stances, right-wing, left-wing, whatever. And we are certainly not here to debate theology.
No, definitely not our job.
Our only goal is to impartially report on the events outlined in our reading and, just analyze the sociological mechanics of how this specific cultural moment actually unfolded.
Which, that requires us to first establish a bit of a baseline.
Right.
To understand why this moment exploded the way it did, we really have to know what is actually at the center of the controversy. So, for a listener who might be completely unfamiliar, Sanatana Dharma is a Sanskrit term, and it's often used to represent the eternal or absolute set of duties in Hinduism.
Right, so it's massive.
Yeah, it's a foundational organizing concept. It encompasses thousands of years of philosophy, culture, and, daily practice for hundreds of millions of people.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because the inciting incident here involves an entertainer stepping directly into an ongoing, incredibly high-stakes debate about that exact foundational concept.
Right.
Actor Arjun Sarja, he responded to public remarks that had been made about Sanatana Dharma. And the reaction wasn't just a handful of Twitter replies.
Oh, no, not at all.
It was an absolute explosion of attention across social media and traditional news networks. And I guess, stepping into the specific cultural debate is kind of like touching a live wire.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah, the scrutiny is just instantaneous and it's electrifying. But I have to ask, if a celebrity weighs in on ancient religious philosophy, why wouldn't serious thinkers just roll their eyes and ignore it?
You'd think they would.
Yeah. Like, why does a comment from an entertainer immediately escalate to the level of intellectuals and religious leaders? Why doesn't this just stay contained in the realm of, entertainment gossip?
Well, what's fascinating here is the existing environment he stepped into.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Arjun Sarja didn't walk into an empty room and start shouting.
Right.
He walked into an arena where a massive nationwide conversation was already raging.
So the stage was set.
Exactly. The
Yeah.
source frames this debate surrounding Sanatana Dharma as already pulling in political leaders, intellectuals, prominent religious figures all across India.
Wow.
The fire was already burning, and it was burning extremely hot. He didn't create the fire.
Okay, but still, why do those entrenched intellectuals even acknowledge him? If I'm like a lifelong religious scholar, why on earth do I care what an actor thinks about theology?
Because, in a hyper-connected digital landscape, you just cannot ignore the loudest voice in the room.
Okay.
Regardless of their academic credentials, right? A celebrity essentially acts as a massive accelerant to an existing cultural flashpoint. They bring millions of eyes.
The fans.
Yeah, the eyes of everyday citizens who, let's be honest, might never read a dense theological journal.
Right, definitely not.
But they absolutely follow every single move of their favorite film stars. So when a celebrity speaks on a flashpoint issue, they instantly shift the entire center of gravity of the public conversation.
Oh, wow. So they pull the audience with them.
Exactly. The intellectuals and politicians have to respond because the actor just handed the microphone to millions of fans.
Okay, but that assumes all celebrities have the exact same gravitational pull, which I just don't buy for a second.
Fair point.
Because if a comedian, known for slapstick humor and a really chaotic personal life, tweeted about eternal Hindu duties, people would just laugh it off.
Yeah, or just ignore it completely.
Exactly. So why did this specific actor, why did Arjun Sarja carry so much undeniable weight here?
Well, you've hit on the critical variable there. It's the messenger's long-cultivated persona.
Cultivated persona.
Yeah, we are talking about an actor with a decades-long career. And crucially, this isn't just like regional fame.
Yeah, okay.
The source notes his career spans Tamil, Telugu, Kannada, and Hindi cinema.
Wow, so that is a massive, multilingual, pan-Indian footprint.
Exactly. And across that vast career, he hasn't just played random goofy roles. He has meticulously cultivated an image of intense discipline, strong conviction, and a deep, long-standing connection to Indian spirituality and traditional values.
Wait, I have to push back here.
Go for it.
Are you saying the audience is reacting to his actual real-world philosophical arguments, or are they just reacting to the fictional characters he's played on screen for 30 years?
That's the million-dollar question.
Because it feels like the public is fundamentally confusing acting with reality. Do fans just feel this, sense of ownership over his traditional values because they've watched him pretend to be this guy across multiple film industries?
Honestly, yes.
Well,
Because the human brain loves a cognitive shortcut.
cool.
Think of it like a heuristic, right?
Yeah.
In the same way, you might subconsciously trust someone wearing a white lab coat to give you medical advice.
Even if I haven't seen their medical degree.
Exactly. Audiences use a celebrity's long-standing persona as a proxy for actual authority. Fans have watched him embody discipline, honor, and tradition for decades. Over time, that just completely blurs the line between fiction and reality.
That is wild. So decades of playing the disciplined hero essentially rewires the audience's brain to view him as a literal moral authority off screen.
Pretty much. The messenger in this specific case perfectly aligns with the message, and the reading actually makes a direct link here. His long-standing public image of spirituality inherently validated his comments in the eyes of his fans.
So the audience isn't separating the actor from the philosophy at all.
Not at all. To them, the decades of consistent behavior on screen serve as literal proof of his authenticity off-screen. And that is exactly why the impact bypassed the entertainment section and landed squarely in a national political discourse.
Well, here's where it gets really interesting. Because you take that massive credibility, you mix it with a highly sensitive religious topic, and you get a spectacularly divided public reaction.
Oh, heavily divided.
Yeah, the breakdown of this incident in the source highlights a very sharp split in society. It's like watching someone walk a cultural tightrope without a net.
Right.
On one side, you have his supporters, and they are praising him to the moon for speaking openly on an issue they see as absolutely vital to their identity.
Yeah, they loved it.
And their core argument is fascinating. They argue that public figures absolutely must be free to express their deeply held beliefs without any fear of professional consequences or, industry backlash.
Which, this raises an important question about what we actually value more in modern discourse, right? Is it raw authenticity or is it curated responsibility?
Right.
The supporters are tapping into a very modern demand. Audiences today are desperately craving authenticity for the people they follow.
They want the real person.
Yeah, exactly. They want the curtain pulled back.
Yeah.
So when an actor speaks fearlessly about a deeply held belief, knowing full well it might alienate a studio or a sponsor.
Oh, because he could lose work over this?
Exactly. His supporters view that risk as the ultimate triumph of individual liberty. They see that lack of professional fear as proof of his honesty.
But I have to challenge that, honestly.
How so?
Well, is it really a triumph of individual liberty, or is there a massive danger in prioritizing this raw authenticity when you're dealing with something as ancient and complex as Sanatana Dharma?
And that brings us straight to the critics.
Right, because the critics in our source material, they maintain that sensitive topics require balanced discussion and careful interpretation. And I read that and just think, how do you fit a balanced interpretation of a multi-millennial-old philosophy into a quick quote for the press or a social media post?
You usually don't.
Yeah.
And that is exactly what the critics are warning against. Think about trying to summarize the entire history of Western philosophy on a single billboard.
It's impossible.
Right, it's impossible. The critics are arguing that ancient traditions are vast, they're nuanced, and they encompass varying regional interpretations and profound daily implications for hundreds of millions of people.
So it's not a monolith.
Not at all. So when you compress that massive history into a viral soundbite, you inherently strip away the necessary context.
So the critics aren't necessarily attacking his right to speak, they're attacking the format of the speech itself.
Exactly.
They are worried about the collateral damage of a radically simplified message.
Yes, that's spot on.
Yeah.
They view this intense demand for authenticity as a potential license for recklessness.
Oh, wow.
They maintain that if you are going to wield a megaphone that reaches millions of people, you have a massive societal responsibility to handle religious and cultural topics with extreme care.
It really sounds like the public is forcing celebrities into an impossible position here.
Pretty much.
Because fans are demanding, speak your truth, be authentic, don't let the industry silence you. But then the critics are saying, well, if you don't have the space or the rigorous expertise to explain the ancient history of this concept, just keep your mouth shut. How does any public figure actually navigate that?
They largely can't navigate it without upsetting one side. And this divide isn't just a disagreement about a single movie star's comments. It really represents a fundamental, ongoing friction in public discourse.
How so?
It's the raw collision between the individual right to free expression and the societal responsibility of public influence.
That tension is everywhere right now.
Exactly. The supporters see the demand for careful interpretation as almost an elitist silencing tactic, designed to keep regular people out of the conversation.
Like gatekeeping.
Exactly,
Yeah.
gatekeeping.
Yeah.
While the critics see the celebrity soundbite as a dangerous degradation of serious thought.
So what does this all mean? We're looking at a situation where the lines between entertainment, religion, and politics aren't just blurred anymore, they are completely erased.
Gone entirely.
Yeah. And I want you, the listener, to think about your own media diet for a second.
That's a good exercise.
Right. If entertainers, armed with these massive platforms and decades of cultivated cognitive shortcuts, are now driving complex cultural debates, does that change how you process what they say?
It should.
Like, should we be applying a totally different critical filter when an actor speaks versus when a historian or a politician speaks?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, that paradigm shift is the ultimate thesis of the source material here.
Okay.
This entire episode proves how incredibly influential celebrities remain in shaping public conversations, far beyond their actual industries.
They are steering the ship.
They are reaching millions and steering the narrative. And this reflects a definitive modern trend in India, the increasing, undeniable intersection of cultural identity, tradition, religion, and public discourse.
It's almost like the physical venue for democracy has relocated.
Oh, totally.
It's no longer confined to the parliament or the university lecture hall. It's happening in the comment sections, the retweet threads, and the press junkets of film stars.
And because the venue has relocated to this digital public square, it is highly visible and incredibly chaotic.
Yeah, chaotic is the word.
You have millions of people negotiating their cultural identity out in the open. But what's crucial from the reading is how we interpret that chaos. Right.
Because it is really easy to look at the fierce arguments over Arjun Sarja's comments and conclude that discourse is broken.
Right, that everyone is just yelling.
Exactly. However, the analysis of this event points to the exact opposite conclusion.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it notes that regardless of whether people agree or disagree with the specific viewpoints expressed, the mere fact that this massive conversation is happening demonstrates the absolute importance of open dialogue in a democratic society.
I actually find that strangely optimistic.
Right.
The fact that people are arguing this fiercely about the boundaries of free speech and the mechanics of celebrity influence and how to interpret ancient traditions, it means they care deeply.
Absolutely.
It means the system of public discourse is actually alive.
A functioning democracy is rarely a quiet, polite affair where debates are neatly organized and curated by experts.
No, it's definitely not. It is loud. It is messy. When a film star makes a comment and the public square absolutely erupts, forcing everyday citizens to weigh the merits of the argument alongside intellectuals and religious leaders, that is democratic dialogue actively functioning.
That's a great point.
The public square is being violently stress tested, and according to the source, it is holding the weight.
Well, to wrap this up, let's look at the incredible journey we've just taken on this deep dive.
There's been a lot of ground covered.
It really has. We started with an action star, Arjun Sarja, who utilized a decades-long multi-industry persona of discipline and conviction to step into the massive nationwide debate over Sanatana Dharma.
Right.
And we saw how the human brain uses that on-screen persona as a cognitive shortcut, basically granting him immense off-screen authority to become an accelerant to this existing cultural fire.
We then explored the deep divide that immediately followed.
Yeah, the clash.
The intense clash between supporters who heavily champion fearless authenticity and individual liberty, and the critics who warn of the dangers of simplifying ancient, complex traditions into celebrity soundbites.
And finally, we saw how this entire event illuminates a massive shift in modern India where the public square has expanded, bringing celebrity influence, religious tradition, and democratic debate into one loud, messy, but actively functioning ecosystem.
Beautifully summarized.
Thank you. Which actually leaves me with a final thought for you to ponder.
Oh? Yeah.
Yeah, we've spent this whole time talking about the pressure of speaking out. But as these spheres of entertainment, religion, and politics continue to fuse, if millions of people are increasingly looking to celebrities to shape and validate their cultural discussions, will neutrality soon become a luxury that public figures can no longer afford in a democratic society?
That is a chilling thought. Because when silence begins to be interpreted by the public as a stance, the tightrope disappears entirely.
Exactly. It's just something to chew on the next time an entertainment headline unexpectedly drops you into a profound philosophical debate. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive, and as always, keep questioning the sources, the messengers, and the hidden mechanics of your daily information.